Bienvenido al People's Pod. Bienvenido al People's Pod.
Okay, welcome to the People's Podcast. This is the Week 9 review. We have a special guest on the pod tonight, a beloved league member, someone who you all enjoy hearing from. Sir, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm Aaron Weaver. I'm
hi.
a big fan of the pod, big fan of the league. Happy to be here tonight. Thanks for the invite.
Of course. How long have you been playing fantasy for?
Four score. Well, playing can be debatable.
Competing?
I've been a cellar dweller for many moons.
Yes, Weaver is back.
I'm back, baby.
And, with that, why don't we just dive into, you've been in multiple time zones, many sporting events have happened.
Dude,
elongated election.
Yeah, I feel like I've been gone for months. I was texting you, I left before the World Series had concluded. I watched that stupid final game in my boss's hotel room, which sounds pretty sketchy, but
the one where he was feeding you whiskey or whatever?
Yeah, it was actually that was pretty cool. He's not a sports guy, so he just kept talking to me the whole time. But so I'd be looking at him, but really looking at the game and nodding and doing the thing. I felt like he was kind of like my wife, after 50 years of marriage.
Means well.
Understand
its importance. So
I'm listening to her day, but not really paying attention to the nitty gritty.
This seems like such an awkward position to be in because obviously you're so locked in, yet you want to be respectful. It seems like the collision of two worlds that you just don't want to happen if they don't understand, right?
Yes.
It's kind of like this guy didn't really fully understand the weight of what's happening for you.
Yeah, completely. And this is the first time that we had met. We had met over Zoom. We talked a bunch over Zoom. So I already knew that he was a talker, too. And then, we get to the hotel room.
Those talkers.
Same day, yeah. And the World Series is starting right as we are, meeting in person. It was just, a series of unfortunate events. But, another fun thing. Another trip going to Texas. Checked the weather, and it was supposed to be hot. Get off the plane, and it was low 40s. So once again,
flip-flop shorts and your Hawaiian shirt.
Luckily, I was not in flip-flops because I had to wear my stupid-ass steel-toed boots that I have to wear on site now. Yeah, so okay. I was a little bit more prepared.
Safety first.
Than Black Tide 2010 when we went to Centex, got off the plane, and it was snowing on the tarmac.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that was very reminiscent. So Dodgers won the World Series. I was, just crying in the hotel room by myself. Thanks for all the texts. I think almost everybody reached out to me and just congratulated me. That was really, I didn't really feel alone, despite the fact that I was just sobbing in my hotel room, just so happy for Kershaw and then the whole Turner thing that got weird.
Yeah, what a guy.
Yeah, so basically my trip in Texas was pretty silly. I'm just there to meet this guy, Colin, my new boss, which is confusing in its own right. So I don't really have a purpose other than hanging out, which feels like a weird use of company money, but it's super important for our working relationship.
Yeah, building that bond. So later on, when he's coming down on you,
yeah,
he doesn't feel as bad.
Yeah, now I'm more than just shoulders, neck, and face. And whatever background I got
and
from
snapping.
Zoom. Yeah, and snapping. Yeah. It's a Weaver staple. Flash forward to the weekend. I drove an hour and a half to the largest barrier island, I think, in North America. It could be in the world.
What's a barrier island? The island that's inside of a landmass?
It's an island that's protecting the landmass from the ocean. So there's a channel. And it's just literally a strip of land that goes from Mexico all the way up, I think, to Louisiana. It's really crazy. Yeah. And at certain parts of it, it gets less than 100 yards wide. Really cool. Basically, yeah, beach beach mode, so I beelined to the beach.
On the company time, still.
No, it's over the weekend. Over the weekend,
Okay.
yeah. But we do have weekend stipend, so that's pretty cool. And so I
That's
get
when you
there.
got that pickle beverage.
Fucking, that thing was so gross. Holy Toledo. Yeah, we'll get to that. And I find a sea turtle education center. And sea turtles are my favorite animal. So I'm fully torqued. I go up, like, finally get there after an hour and a half of driving. And I get there at 3:20. They sell their last ticket at 3:15 because
Uh-oh.
of COVID. Yeah, they have restricted hours.
You're like, look, sir, I love sea turtles.
I love sea turtles. This is on Saturday, and I missed it by 5 minutes. Can I please just get in there? They're like, well, you can come look at this tank, but, like, we can't sell you a ticket. And I was just like, come on, guy. Like, I'm from California. I drove an hour and a half here. Tomorrow's Sunday, football Sunday. I'm not going to come back, Like, please. And they just would not do it. Super fucked. So then I go next door to a bird watching area, and they have alligators. And you get to feed alligators and
Are you feeding them live birds?
feeding them like turd looking things. It looked like rabbit food, but for some reason they were way into it. I got to feed these giant tortoises that were over 100 years old.
Wow.
They were must have been famished because they just crushed all the lettuce that I had to give them.
I saw a post, I think on Instagram, about how tortoises, these big ones you're talking about, love pumpkins.
Whoa.
It literally was like, bring your pumpkins to this address because there's a tortoise farm somewhere in the area, and they just munch on pumpkins.
That's awesome. Yeah, so that was super fun. I was trying to record it and feed him, and at the same time, the staffer was behind me like, "Be careful, they can bite your finger off." And I'm just like, oh, freaking out, trying to stay calm and collected because there's a bunch of children around me. COVID, dude. Also, by the way, just in Texas,
Not a
again, it's crazy. Nobody cares. It's wild.
Another stat to interrupt you with, I just saw that Texas went over 1 million cases. It was like the first state.
Yeah. El Paso was so full of hospital cases that they were helicoptering patients to other major cities. Yeah. Just let's spread the disease. No, but anyways.
Take this to other population centers.
Yeah, and then another cool thing was I got to hold a baby alligator and snake. So, yeah, we can use that for the YouTube picture. So that was by
So you're just
far,
going to a bunch of animal exhibits in your time in Texas?
Awesome, yeah. And it was $22 to buy every single package that they had to offer. All the feed, all the photo ops. It was awesome. And Texas is pretty cool.
Kind of sounds like the Tiger King.
It really felt like it. It really did. But then there's this giant walk over the marshland that's like a bird preserve, and so it's all about educational material. Well, so is he apparently, right? But yeah, there was a bunch of cool marsh birds and the wetlands. I don't know, learned a lot about it. Do you know that they are great at reducing pollution entering the ocean and vice
wetlands
versa?
specifically,
Wetlands,
like the
yeah.
environment.
Yeah, they're a huge pollutant sink, and they help prevent flooding. If there's a tsunami, wetlands can absorb a large amount of that, which I had never known. It's just a natural protectant for the land.
Driving from San Diego to Florida when I went with my mom, whenever last August, driving through all those states in that area. So it was Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi. There were some parts of the highway that went over those wetlands and marshlands for hundreds of miles. So I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, and also fucking humans, dude. Let's just build. It reminds me of the Lord of the Rings.
Manifest destiny, baby. Couldn't
Yeah.
stop us.
Or just build a highway into Mordor through the back door.
So you're in Texas, and then eventually you get to Washington. What was
Eventually I
that?
get to Washington. It's freezing there too, so that's always fun. Apple County. Let's see, there was less Trump rallies, obviously. And at this point, I'm just tuning into the election every single day, just kind of waiting for news. But
like everybody else.
Yeah, like everybody else. But being alone and doing it, which is weird. Or kind of behind
These trips
enemy
sound
lines.
very lonely. Except
was
for all the animals you get to meet.
It was a very brutal trip. Oh, also, we flew into Yakima because it's snowing, and so driving from Seattle to Yakima was just off. I'm not driving over 2 mountain passes.
Plus, you don't have a license to get a car.
Plus, yeah, Jesus Christ. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, Texas. My license expired back in May. I applied for a new one in August. It hasn't arrived yet in October, November now. It arrives the day I leave. Super cool. But Texas wouldn't rent me a car, despite the fact that I had a temporary license from the DMV, a paper printout. They're like, oh yeah, there's too much fraud. And like Mexican
Sounds familiar.
authorities apparently fucked up their paperwork with our government, and so Mexican driver licenses don't count anymore for like American rentals. So anybody that was coming across the border into Texas and like wanted to rent a car weren't allowed to.
It sounds like a classic Trump thing.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't accept any of these licenses from
Dude,
Mexico.
yeah, it's like what the hell? So that was fun. My flight to Yakima got in at midnight. The rental car agencies were all closed. The hotel shuttle was no longer running. There were no taxis available. There was one Uber, and I didn't get it from our flight. So I had to walk 1.5 miles at midnight in 30-degree weather to the hotel.
It's a character building activity.
With my boss, yeah, so that's cool.
Okay, let's go alone for this part.
Yeah. And it's super funny, too. I felt pretty lucky for both of us being together. A, because strength in numbers, but B, like, he's a black dude, and walking down the streets of Yakima, Washington at midnight, that could have been a really sketchy...
With all the election fervor.
With all the, unrest. I mean, we saw one car the whole time we were walking, but still, I felt like good that we were together.
For sure.
Yeah. And so now I'm back.
You're back.
Yeah.
Is it as you remember?
I miss this place so much. I know. I'm hoping to hole up in the man cave for the rest of 2020.
Well, thanks for that update, and we're glad to have you back.
Thanks.
Just to update us on our weekend. So a lot of this was covered in the Drunken Pod bonus pod released on Sunday with Bakeroo. But basically, Kurt, Bacon, and I, with Bacon's girlfriend, we went to Rounding Third on Sunday to catch all the games. So, normally this classic setup everyone remembers is you walk inside, there's TVs surrounding the top of the ceiling, there's the bar, there's a bunch of tables. We're always fighting for a spot where we all fit. We all order, the tall Budweisers and the shot of Fireball, and then the day commences, right? Free food, whatnot. Slightly different now with pandemic times. 6 TVs are outside. They have plastic tables set outside with a bunch of chairs. The setup actually is pretty cool for the circumstance. Not that many people were there. Not to mention the weather was not that great. We had played disc golf the day previous, and it was like sporadic rain where we showed up and it dumped on us for a little bit and then passed, and then halfway through the round it rained again and then it passed. Pretty similar conditions happened on Sunday. We're under these shade tents, and it's pretty windy where these shade tents are being lifted up off the ground. Everyone who's watching is like grabbing the legs so they don't fly away. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. They actually were drilling into cinder blocks. They were drilling into cinder blocks to then anchor these shade tents into the cinder
It
blocks.
sounds like something you do on Saturday.
Yeah, well, I mean, given that it was like all MacGyvered together in the moment, it was pretty impressive. But yeah, like we said in the bonus pod, we asked for a Bud and a Balls. We asked the waitress.
Yeah!
We said, we'll take Bud and Balls. Bacon ordered one. Then before she left, she's like, I will also have a Bud and a Ball. She comes back bringing us 2 bottles of Budweiser. And that's it.
No!
She doesn't know what Bud and Balls are.
Oh, no!
And Bacon and I defeatedly look at each other. And then the next time she comes back, we're just like, can we get 2 shots of Fireball? And she was great and super nice and attentive and peppy and everything. That deal just doesn't exist anymore, or it doesn't register as Bud and Balls.
Oh, man. Elise. It went down with Elise.
Right. Wow. What a throwback.
Yeah. Did they still have the giant beers, though?
Yes. Yeah.
She just fucked up and
Kurt
gave you
got
bottles.
big Hoppy Poppy later on, and I mirrored him after that.
Woof.
The last drink you get is obviously a stiff IPA.
The worst decision.
Then you go back to the U. But that was our Sunday. It was great having Bacon here. We made ratatouille.
That reminds me of the 4th of July when you made us get a Hoppy Poppy tower at Casablanca. And then we all vomited profusely.
I don't think I vomited profusely. But again, more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
If you go to the store right now and look at a 12-pack of Corona and then a 12-pack of Hoppy Poppy, the Hoppy Poppy one's going to be like $5 more expensive. So if you get the same amount of ounces of beer, craft beer.
Until you throw up.
In any case, that was our Sunday.
Yeah, that is good math, though. I feel you. Great value.
Shifting gears here. Adam, I want to congratulate you. Yahoo actually showed some badges won today. And the badge that I saw for Adam was a Smooth Negotiator badge.
Ooh.
Adam has successfully completed 5 trades this year, which have resulted in his 3 wins. So congratulations on that badge.
Those aren't all in our league, are they?
I think so.
Whoa.
I don't want to scroll back, but like I traded with him. He traded with Pebbles over the weekend. He traded with Stu, which was the Robinson one.
How fun.
In any case, congratulations, Adam, for that badge. Another fun update, so Tide update. We actually did this last year on the podcast, and I was thinking that today would be a fun day to update you on what's going on with Tide because it's actually a pretty funny thing that's now happening with my coaching ship with them. Obviously, we're not practicing in any organized fashion. The guys are playing minis and working out on their own in IV. Two members of the team, now sophomores, have actually got COVID, now have recovered. But I'm meeting with the captains virtually every week for like 15 minutes to a half an hour, just talking about what they're doing, social posts, engagement with not only the returning people, but the community, ordering jerseys, this, yada, yada, whatever. But we also wanted to do virtual film studies. And so, much like we're recording this podcast, a few weeks ago what I did was I recorded my voice watching a game, then I sent the audio file to the guys, and then they played that while they then watched the game, the returning vets, which worked out fine, but I actually didn't attend the actual thing, right? Like I wasn't virtually there. And so it wasn't the same as like me being available for questions and just like overall presence. So the guys had the idea of setting me up on Twitch. Or putting me on Twitch and then live streaming through a Twitch account so then I could be engaging with the team in the moment. And so we did that last night, mostly successfully. So I streamed one of their games that's available on YouTube. I commented on it during this Twitch stream. And now I'm on Twitch.
You're a Twitcher.
I'm a Twitcher. I don't have any of those like skimpy outfits that some of the women do. It's actually funny because when I signed up for my Twitch account initially, when they told me it was around Halloween time, and if you go to the Twitch homepage, they have a ton of live streams that are happening in that moment. Some have to do with like different games, some are just super random shit. But the one that I saw that I gravitated towards was these 2 chicks were dressed up, and the caption was like drunken pumpkin carving. And so I was like, oh, I'll click on this. And there's 2 wasted chicks carving pumpkins on their live stream. And so
like busty shirts.
Yeah, just I mean, it wasn't like terribly sexual costumes, but enough to like be a little bit provocative. And these girls were just like drunk, and it was not good content, right? Yeah. But now those are my compatriots in the Twitcherverse.
That's so funny.
And that's the Tide update.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. That's a great idea. I'm gonna steal your idea for the high school kids.
Do it. Yeah, it's super easy too, right? And like, it's not. I didn't prepare so much for it. I just played the video. I talked over the stream. Like I did. Missed the contain on that break throw, and then they got another break throw. We saw it happen. Just like live commentary during it.
Ooh. Just roasting people in real time on the internet for everybody to watch and see.
So that's our Tide update. Question for you. How are you and Mike Davis doing with this whole McCaffrey roller coaster?
Dude,
How are you feeling when McCaffrey came back? How are you feeling on Sunday when the news broke that he left the game? And how are you feeling now when he's going to miss this upcoming week, and he has to go to a second opinion for his shoulder.
I know, it's so exciting. Stu and I have been talking a lot about trading Mike Davis. I've been pretty resistant because I never thought that his value was truly going to go away. I felt like he earned some PT.
What was the best offer?
Probably DJ Shark, but
That's a pretty good offer.
that was also before we knew about the broken thumb
For Minch?
from the Minshew Magic. Yeah, so Shark was having some rough goes, and he was also hurt a bunch.
I got sharked on Sunday. Literally.
Yeah, you did.
Within the
Oh.
first 2 minutes of that game, he catches a 70-yard touchdown. Of
Yeah.
course.
That made me feel. Meanwhile, Mike Davis wasn't doing anything. It's just like, oh, fuck me. I'm no good at this trading stuff. But yeah, I'm feeling great. I feel like maybe my team isn't lost after all. I feel like I've been floundering a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And what's even better is that me and Stu play each other this week. And so we have a lot riding on this.
Wow.
If CMC plays, that's bad for me.
Wow. I
Yeah.
think he's not going to play.
I don't think anybody thinks he's going to play. Even he probably doesn't think he should play. And I don't think that they should play him.
I was
Frankly.
texting Stu a little bit today, and he's worried that they're going to shut him down completely for the season,
Yeah.
which would be a boon to the rest of the league.
Yeah.
Both the NFL and us.
Right, yeah. I was also texting with Stu about it, and it's always a bummer when these big name superstars get hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Saquon is fun to watch. CMC is fun to watch. I mean, yeah. I was reminiscing back in the day about the Lob Jam Clippers and how they were quote-unquote rivals with the Warriors as they were up and coming.
Mhm.
And we never really got to see that fleshed out in the playoffs because there were always injuries.
Right.
And so we got cheated of that. And it's just a sad day. But as of right now, I'm feeling good. Thankfully.
That's a pretty fun wrinkle that you're playing each other this week.
Yeah.
I got the receiving end of the McCaffrey 30-plus point return
Tough.
last weekend.
Yeah.
Not that I was going into it without my top 3 running backs anyway, so I didn't have super high hopes, but yeah, that was just a beatdown.
Didn't I tell you I thought your team was fading solely because of
You
injuries?
did, yeah. The last podcast we were on, you were what was it? Buying and selling.
Yeah, I
You sold
your
my team.
But you guys are they're
Somewhat healthy.
sauntering
Yeah.
back.
Somewhat healthy.
There's no
It's,
coach loyalty in this locker room.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. Speaking of trades, trade happened today between O'Malley and I. Chase Edmonds for Jameson Crowder. What are your thoughts on that, being an unbiased party?
Unbiased
Do you have
party.
thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know. You're trying to move people. I think it's kind of weird, like your RB hurting and you're trading away Edmonds. I know he didn't really perform all that well. Your receiver setup. What's your team look like? Let's just check it out real quick.
So while you're
We're in
clicking
there.
around, my thought process was Sanders is now healthy. Henderson and Mixon both are questionable for this week, but I have Henderson's backup in Malcolm Brown, so I can play him if I have to. I did pick up Jordan Wilkins, who super underperformed last week, but still is like a last ditch. I need a running back, and I have some depth where I can plug and play. Obviously, the options are not as strong as a Mixon or a Henderson, but I felt that Edmonds' value had already peaked. I mean, Drake is coming back this week. He literally practiced today. Edmonds underperformed in the starting spot on Sunday, and Crowder, when healthy, has received double-digit targets in every game he's played beyond this last one, which was with Joe Flacco at the helm, which he won't be after their bye.
Right. Still scored 9.6 points, so that's
Yeah.
pretty cool on 2 targets.
Right, the
So
toe
that's-
tap touchdown was a pretty impressive grab.
That's nice. Yeah. I think it's cool. I think it's similarly valued players. You guys both clearly are filling a need. Fuck it. Like, I've been pretty on board with a majority of the trades so far this season.
Mhm.
And, like, you never...
Speaking of the majority of trades, that's how you dropped a certain
I
person.
know, yeah. But, luckily for me, Noah Fant has been injury-riddled, and so he really hasn't contributed as much as everybody
Thought it would, yeah.
So even that's kind of a bust. We've had a lot of bust trades that are just irrelevant. And
Yeah.
So I feel good about it. Like, kudos to you guys for working something out. Hopefully.
It was actually very cordial between O'Malley and I. I had another interested party that I was talking to, and they both were aware, this other party and O'Malley, of the interest of another person. And O'Malley had asked for an extension on our trade to see whether Drake was coming back or not. And I was kind of wary to allow that extension because if Drake were to be healthy, then I felt the trade would not go through with O'Malley. But I figured that because he was being so understanding of the other interests that I was getting, but still available, that it was fine to me to honor the request. And eventually, it happened. So
it's funny that you say it's cordial, because isn't that a classic sales technique? Like, hey, I got somebody else that's willing to buy. I mean,
right. Well, so I guess what I mean by cordial is obviously in any trade that I'm going to make, I'm going to tell every party that there are other interested parties. Much like, when I sold my truck, I was like, hey, there's a lot of people offering this. Can you beat it?
Yeah. Sales technique.
But cordial in the fact that O'Malley was willing to, both parties on this end were willing to acquiesce to the other's requests, and then the trade ended up happening at the finality of it.
Yeah. Cool. Congrats.
Last fun update here before we actually get into the meat of the podcast, and this is so ridiculous, I feel like I have to share it to everybody. So last week on Amazon, I ordered 2 10-foot lightning cables. We actually had one of these super long cables like 6 months ago or 8 months ago that Kurt's friend Farmer left. Super convenient when you're sitting on one couch and this cord is plugged in feet away from you and you can just lay down and be fine. And actually how my setup is currently for work, I'm sitting in the the living room table. The outlet is just far enough away to where I can't plug my phone in and use it at the same time, which was the impetus of me trying to get these cords. So anyway, I made the purchase along with another item so I would get free shipping. The other item came in first, which is as I ordered. Yesterday I get a package thinking it's going to be these cords. I open it up, and it's these little squeeze packets. You know how there's like the Gatorade squeeze packets you can have?
Oh, yeah.
So these little squeeze packets called nut butter.
Oh, I know about nut butter.
So these squeeze packets are basically like a macadamia nut butter in these packets called nut butter. It's called like F-bomb nut butter. And so I was so taken aback. I was like, did someone send me this as a joke? Like, did someone in our league, like Stu, send me this nut butter as a joke? Or did Chelsea send it to me as a joke? So she had no idea about it when I like shared her a picture because it was so ridiculous. Then I looked further into it. The cords that I ordered were marked as delivered at the house. I looked at the packaging that the nut butter came in. It was from the same seller as the cords.
What?
So I go on to Amazon to try and contact the seller to be like, hey guys, you sent me the wrong thing. Can you send me these cords? Amazon has such an automated process to where you cannot directly contact the seller. You have to go through Amazon support. And on all their options, it was, like, didn't get it, got it, but want to replace it or return it. And every single option is return the item you got. Like you got the item you ordered, but it's defective. There's no, and there actually is, I received the wrong item, but when you click on that, it reroutes you to the stupid tree of return the item that you got, which was not the item that I received that I ordered. So eventually I get onto this support bot.
You really wanted to hold on to this nut butter.
Well, at this time, I had already had one of them, and Brad already had one because that was hilarious.
Yeah.
But also, there was no select an option that said, I received X item, but I ordered this item.
Right.
There was none of that. It was just send back the item you ordered. So anyway, it's a long-winded story I'm telling you because I got my refund. I ordered different cables today, and I have this box of nut butter.
That's so exciting. I saw it on there.
Yes.
Like, what promo? Like, was there a rep for nut butter at Rounding Third? You guys just got a free box?
Nut butter.
Nut butter.
Okay, so powering along, that was a nice long intro for you all.
This podcast brought to you
Brought
by
to you
Nut
by
Butter.
Nut Butter.
Keep buttering those nuts. What? Sorry.
I just completely lost my train of thought.
I'm drinking scotch out of a straw.
Yeah, hurry up.
It's tough.
Okay, going over the last week's picks very quickly so we can get into the actual fun part of this podcast. Week 8, I went 5-1. Weaver went 4-2. Stu went question mark. He didn't submit any picks. This past week, I went 3-3 along with the NPM. We had the same picks, myself and the model, coincidentally enough. Weaver went 4-2, and Stu went 5-1. In order to save time in this podcast or anything that jumps out at you in any of these matchups, one, we already talked about it. McCaffrey blew up. O'Malley had a come from behind win. Evan had a come from behind win, but that was an emphatic fashion. Let's see.
For me, the biggest thing of this week is Brad being back. He's back.
Brad's on a 2-game win streak, and then I got the biggest blowout against Max this past weekend.
Yeah. Everybody would have loved to play Max this weekend, unfortunately.
Yes, I would have too. Actually, with my weak and pathetic showing, 109 points, I think I would have beat half the teams in the league. Silver lining.
Yeah, it was a windy week. Windy week, right?
week.
Yeah, totally. Windy week? No? Fuck. That's what
Well,
it's going to be.
The game of the week, as I had said it would be last weekend, was O'Malley versus Bacon. We all chose O'Malley to beat Bacon, so he got the podcaster's pick, and he proved us all correct. Unfortunately, all the podcasters agreed on Stu beating me as well. Those were the 2 universal picks of last weekend. And that brings my total to 27-27 on the year. Absolutely 500. If you were to flip a coin, it would be as accurate as my predictions.
That's pretty fucking funny. What is my overall record? Yeah, not
I don't
tabulated.
have a tally. Also, you didn't submit picks for the first few weeks,
I
so it's
didn't.
like very hard to tell.
It's bullshit, yeah. But we're going by win ratio, right? Because we have a bet on this.
We do a bet, and I am confident that we said the number of correct picks, not the ratio.
Fuck. Yeah, all right.
We can go revisit that first podcast, but I'm pretty sure you were atoning for your
Atonement.
missing picks for that way.
Atonement.
Okay, moving on. Fun facts, projections. So this week, 6 of us met our projections. Bill met his by a whopping 0.38 points. Brad also met his, Evan, Peb, Stu, and myself. My projection was 104, and I got 109 points. So look at that. On the season, we have met our projections as a league 44 times out of 108 chances, which puts us at a clip of 40.7%.
Ooh.
We are meeting our projections.
So Peb's model of just playing out projections is 40% correct.
Yes. Projections are baloney.
Projections are baloney.
Another, maybe not fun fact, but something I want to comment on is we were commenting in the group meeting about how it's bullshit that Melvin Gordon has not had any penalty levied
Yeah.
against him to this point
Dude.
because of the DUI. I heard today that his court date is set for the 14th of December.
Yeah.
So it's possible that the NFL and the Broncos are waiting for that to play out before they levy their own punishment, which is a whole different conversation in itself. But just so everybody knows, that's when the court date is set.
It seems so weird to me especially, they're like a middling team right now. If they extend this far enough, these suspensions are going to go into next season. And so any hope they have of next season, they're going to get back Chubb, Von Miller, all those boys. I don't know if Chubb's actually hurt, but
Right.
he's just like going to miss the first game of next season. Like, take the L now.
Carlos Sutton.
Carlos Sutton? Yeah, exactly. Like, they're missing a lot of key players. And
Not only is that, sorry, but that's in English.
Good.
Melvin Gordon has been not as advertised for them. Lindsey has been the much more effective runner, and outside of the game where Melvin Gordon blew up on the Jets, he's been not very good.
Yeah.
Not worth the money, and like you're saying, definitely not worth waiting on a suspension. But we'll see what happens.
Classic Goodell fucking up. sending mixed signals again. But if like Alden Smith or Josh Gordon is caught
Right,
holding
if
a
some- yeah.
cigarette, he's
Yep.
banned
Mhm.
for life.
Yeah, if someone is, yeah, like imagine, I don't know, if Antonio Brown's like caught with a joint or something, he's probably,
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's like more to those stories, but like it's just such a stupid system. It's totally subjective. You got a DUI. Fucking punish him now. Why are we waiting months? What is he researching? What investigation is happening behind this DUI?
innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
In several months.
Yes.
Yeah, fuck that.
Another
My
fun
boy.
fact.
Lindsay!
So this relates directly to you.
Uh-oh.
The Niners played the Packers without all of their wide receivers because Kendrick Bourne had a false positive
Yeah.
COVID test. Kendrick Bourne this week was put into COVID protocols.
Again?
Yes. So the chance that he's been double false positive is
Dude.
pretty low. And so just to bring that full circle to all you angry Niners fans, there might be some basis for those
Yeah.
people not playing.
Yeah. Oh, we just can't catch a break. Please. What did we do? We sold our soul to the devil to lose in the Super Bowl.
He went up against the buzzsaws Mahomes.
Fucking Mahoney. Yeah.
Okay, mailbag time.
Oh, exciting.
Mailbag. All right, let's see.
Mailbag. Strong man.
Mailbag from Blood Diamond Bill.
Bless him.
Fan of the pod. We spoke about Blood Diamond Bill fondly in the very beginning of this fantasy season. Sent him a hoodie because he asked about the lack of respect put on his team name, and now he's 7-2. In any case, Blood Diamond Bill asks, what is the breakdown of luck versus skill in fantasy?
70% luck, 30% skill. You could draft the best team in the world and have them all tear their ACLs week 1, right? Pebbles' team would be the best in the league if he had Saquon, because he picked up James Robinson. There's 2 RB1s. I mean, you could have, and then you just like randomly take a flyer on with your 10th round pick, and you just happen to pick up rookie DK Metcalf, and he blows up. Yeah, I think it's.
So how do you then explain Blood Diamond's Bill's consistent attendance in the finals? It's like been 4 or 5 years in a row.
It's insane. Remember in the beginning of the season, we were just like, Bill's team is God's gift to the earth, right? And then midway through, we're just like, dude, Bill's team sucks, right? Like, even Stu loves to talk shit on him.
And he traded away Stephon Diggs for someone who now he's already traded away again.
Oh my God, yeah. Fuck me. Fuck me, right?
They won't let you put a comma in your name. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, fuck. I can't explain it. He's got some good karma. Max thinks he's the best person, the best man in this league. Best man rankings.
Who's best man rankings?
Max.
Adam, Stu, Peps,
Max.
Oh,
Yeah.
those ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
He thinks Bill is the best person in the
That's
league.
why he traded Wussel to him.
Oh,
How do you feel about that
fucking
trade?
God, yeah.
Do you think this is Max being spiteful, or do you think there is a, to quote Hamlet, method in his madness?
I think there's a method in his madness. He and I have talked trades before, and he's proposed some things that I didn't necessarily like, and then he like explained his logic, and I was like, huh, yeah, okay, I get it. So I think that there's some method to his madness. I mean, at this point, you gotta change the game, right?
Right, being in there, you definitely got to shake it up for sure.
If your team isn't panning out the way, if you're on the bottom half of the league, you gotta pull off a blockbuster. Hopefully, save your season.
I know, acquiring Jamison Crowder, acquiring Russell Wilson, it's on par. Right?
Same. Yeah.
Okay, so the answer to that question is
Luck.
70% luck, 30% skill,
Yes. Pickups and all that stuff, like knowing the league's
100% beer mile.
fab tendencies, that takes skill.
There is something
That takes a lot of
I
skill.
have an issue with. I like need to improve upon is how much to bid on guys.
Yeah.
To like how to. I mean, obviously, it's easy to judge the remaining balance other people have. Like now in the season, if like someone has a certain amount, you can just bid $1 above them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have, let's say, the equivalent amount of money across the league, how do you set a value on a player?
Right. Especially because there's expert rankings, and they're telling you like low values.
Those are always way like half as much as we spend. In
yeah,
our league
and
on
then there's
guys.
our league. You have to know our league, and like Stu was bitching a lot about not spending the money on Mike Davis. Right? He's like, oh, you blew all your fab on him, but I got an RB1 for 4 weeks. Like,
Not only Mike Davis, but you did well with Justin Jackson too. You had two great pickups. That like those guys have been the success for your team.
yeah,
When Jackson was coming back, I thought he would, like literally, I thought the roles would be reversed as what they ended up being.
right. Though, unfortunately, me and my managerial decisions have not been able to profit from him, which sucks. Yeah, so that one I feel less good about personally. I know like I got the man in Charger land. I've just mistimed actually playing him because of like I didn't like the matchup or what have you. And
That's how I feel with Henderdog.
yeah,
The week that I acquired him, he played the Giants. I played him. He got less than 10 points. I sat him the next week. He got 20 points. He hasn't eclipsed more than 10 points since then and has been injured.
yeah, and so that's kind of where the skill comes into play, right? Like, are you in tune? Are you in sync with your team? Like a couple weeks ago, I benched Juju. I acknowledged it on the pod. I didn't feel good about it at all, and he did better than some of my receivers. And so it's just like sometimes you're just out of sync with your team. Other times, like Evan, he tinkered in Jacoby Myers, got the W.
Great tinker by Evan.
He
yes.
had two other players in his flex spot, tinkered both of them out for Jacoby Myers for the Monday Night Miracle, and it fucking got him the W. So, in certain regards, yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. That one, there's a question if that tinker was luck or skill, right? It's you have the Patriots who are historically manhandling the Jets. You have Cam, who's not been good as a passer going into this game. I guess the historical money would be that Patriots are going to run up the score and then run. They don't have to throw. The opposite happens. They're down 10 at half. Cam ends up having a pretty good throwing game. Although he doesn't throw a passing touchdown, he got close with Bird. Still, Myers gets double-digit targets, over 100 yards.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
tinker.
And sometimes, like, luck will have it. Game script will ruin your guys' performance. Like Lindsey and the Broncos this past week.
Yeah, against the Falcons.
Down big, and so Lindsey just didn't
Matty
get to
Ice.
play. Yeah. Meanwhile, Matty Ice was crushing it. Yeah, so that was cool. But, yeah. Anyways, good question. I like that.
Next question from the mailbag.
What could be next?
This is going to be a little more of a deep dive.
Oh, as if that wasn't.
Nope, that's my trade chatter. It's not a question.
Oh.
Mailbag question. This one comes from our listener in Oakland. Listener, check out my elevator, says, who do you think makes the playoffs in the real NFL?
In the real NFL?
So why don't you start that one? I'm going to go grab some more beverages.
Yeah, can you grab my mango cart?
Yeah.
NFL playoff picture. What the hell?
What? Don't ask Google. You got
I don't even know how many fucking... Because now they have 16 teams.
7 teams.
What?
7 teams each conference.
This is a brutal one to not be prepared for at all. I'm cheating, folks. I'm going to CBS Sports, the ultimate guide for...
5G just got
Oh my god, now we're listening to an
now
advertisement.
we got... Hey, it's time for our advertisement.
This is how you're supposed to answer this question. You go to NFL.com, you look at the current standings, then you make your projections off of that. Don't take somebody else's playoff picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. The first article on NFL.com is midseason playoff predictions.
I would have clicked on that.
No, we're going to standings. So we're going to make our
Standings.
own predictions. So 7 teams make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They've added 1. You have the 4 divisional winners and 3 wild cards. So we'll start in the NFC.
Okay. Seahawks.
These are your
Oh,
in
man.
teams, or are you thinking?
My in teams are Seahawks. I think Cardinals get into with wild card. I'm going Washington football team now that Alex Smith is back. Though that tie is looming large.
Mm-hmm.
Saints for sure. And Buccaneers, yeah.
And Buccaneers?
Yeah. That's
That's
5.
5. So you have 2 wild card teams.
Green Bay Packers.
6. You get to pick 1 more wild card.
The Bears have 5 wins. Oh, fuck. I might go with the Rams.
Okay, so you're
3
taking,
teams out of the NFC West.
taking Seahawks, football team, Saints, Packers as your division winners, and Cardinals, Rams, Bucks as your wild card.
Mhm.
Okay. In the NFC, I will also take Seahawks to win. Taking the Eagles to win. The Eagles are getting healthy on offense. Saints. Yeah, I'm going to take the Saints because they just beat up on the Bucks, which would be their competition in that division. And then Packers as well. Wild card teams. Nobody from the NFC East, goddamn sure. Yeah, I guess Buccaneers are a nice choice there. Oh, man. So then it comes down to who's better, the Cardinals or the Rams and the Bears. You can throw the Bears in there too. Bears are not good on offense. Yeah, damn it. Okay, I don't want to do this. I'm going to take the Cardinals and the Rams as well. So the only pick that we have different in the NFC is I'm taking the Eagles and you're taking the football team.
That's fun. How cool.
Football team bet?
Fuck it. Yeah, I'll do it. A shot.
Deal. Okay, we're doing a shot on who wins the NFC East between the Eagles and the football team.
And if
Loser
neither
takes a
wins,
shot.
We both take a shot.
We both take a shot of somehow the Cowboys or Giants win, and Max will shotgun to be regardless. Okay.
Yeah. How you doing?
Okay. How's your father? Okay. AFC. Who you got?
Okay, yeah. Bills, easy. Titans, they
That's
were
your Super Bowl
my
pick?
plotters, yeah, for the Super Bowl. Steelers, hard to choose against them. Chiefs, obviously, yeah. Then Ravens, Colts,
Keep Colts as a wild card team?
yeah. And I think the Dolphins might be able to pull it off too.
Ravens, Colts, Dolphins as your wild card.
Yeah,
You're taking the current division leaders.
yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to agree with you on the division leaders. Bills, Titans, Steelers, Chiefs. That's easy. Wild card teams, 3 of them. Oh, man.
Sorry, Adam. Raiders don't got it.
Yeah, no, I'm actually gonna pick the Raiders to make it.
Okay.
I'm going Dolphins as well. I like the Dolphins. They're playing good football, especially on the defensive side. Ravens, definitely, they still get to play the Browns and the Bengals at least once more each. So those are 2 more wins they're gonna get. And then the Raiders. I think the Raiders are a better team than the Colts. I think the Colts are really inconsistent.
the Raiders.
Yeah, as much as I hate it. The Raiders get to play the Clippers again, and the Clippers are god-awful, so it's at least 1 more win.
Justin Herbert is going to spoil some seasons.
He's fine on offense, but their defense can't stop anybody. They've allowed so many points in the past few games.
That's what I'm hoping for this
boggling.
week. To Tagovailoa.
I actually have the Miami defense, so let's
Hey.
go Dolphins.
Go Dolphins.
Not to mention my boy Parker. So yeah, we can be
Hey,
Dolphins fans this
fuck
week.
Yeah. A lot of high
Dolphins are a
fives.
fun team.
Who
Okay,
knew that
so
trading away all of their fucking studs would lead to a better team?
right, and they have I think they have a few first-round picks in this next draft too
They
from
have
the
to.
Texans.
They have to, yeah.
The Texans are in terrible shape. Okay, that's the mailbag.
Mortgage their
Thank you, everyone, participating in that.
yes, fam.
The more mailbag questions, the better.
Love you, boys.
So before we dive into the waiver wire review, just discussing the action that happened last night, any hot topics that you wanted to cover coming back? Any thoughts you wanted to share the last few weeks in football land, our league? Any surprises that's been happening? How do you feel things are shaking out in the standings currently, or how do you feel about how things are shaking out in the standing currently?
I
This-
am currently terrified because I am in 5th place and I'm above O'Malley and Brad's passing finally. Good. But
Wow, 2 points separate you and O'Malley.
I know, yeah. It's brutal. Actually, last week I was ahead of him by 5 yards. So I actually increased my lead. Or maybe there was a stat correction because the 5-yard thing was very recent. Look at the parity in this league, man. Like, you're at 4-5, and there's 3 weeks left. If you get on a hot streak right now, that puts you at the coveted 7 wins.
Right. That's what my plan is. That's the plan.
It's just unfortunate that points 4 is so,
Right. I've had
so
some rough
low.
weeks. My team has been really Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, I had the 1 week where I got the money.
Jekyll and Hyde? Not Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
Yeah, Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll? It's
So
Jekyll, right? I'm not crazy.
it's Dr.
You're-
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
You fucking
Jekyll.
English.
Jekyll.
Yeah.
Jekyll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I put up a high spotted max. Got the money. Riding high. So my points have been 110, 164, 85, 135. So since week 4, I haven't put up more than 117 points.
Ooh.
Against you, I put up 80, but this is a bad week, and like all my guys were dead. Yeah, I mean, I'm praying for a strong rebound from all my injured dudes, and it looks like Mixon's gonna miss this week too.
Do you have any regrets about not trading away those injured boys? I know that you've received some trade offers
Right.
with regards to them.
I don't regret not trading away Mixon or Sanders. I do regret trading away DJ Moore.
Interesting. Why is that?
He's had some big blow-up weeks, and my receiving core has not been as strong as I thought. Like, if you were to list all the receivers that I drafted right now, it's a really strong list. But that list includes DJ Moore and Brandon Cooks, both of whom no longer are on my
The
team.
Cooks thing is triggering.
It's
But
that might be like the single dumbest move ever made in fantasy is dropping Brandon Cooks.
Oof. The last 2 weeks.
Right, but
DJ
before
Moore's
that, I mean, like
combined
in week 6 and 7, 5, 6, 7, he's had double-digit points, and 5, 6, 7. Actually, I won 1, lost. Well, I lost. Let's see. How much did he score in week 7? So that would have given me the victory. I mean, had I played him, I lost to Evan by
13.
12.5 points, and DJ Moore scored 24 points. If we go to that quickly, I had Mike Williams in there that scored me 0.9 points.
Tough.
Who, by the way, I dropped him and since has rebounded nicely, so fuck that. But anyway, that's why.
Can we trade somebody? I want
You want to get the
Come
the
on.
gall touch?
I'll take anybody.
It's like the forever the bridesmaid, never the bride thing.
Yeah. That was my team name for a while. Always the bridesmaid. Oh, sorry. That's wrong league. Faux pas.
Oh my god.
Big fuck up. I'll drink.
Take a drink, yeah.
Big slurp out of this
Drink
straw.
up, slurperoo. Dude, we got some new name changes going on here. Lamario Party.
Devontae is my shepherd. Yeah.
So I forgot Adam had Sterling Shepard on his team. So initially I was like, this kind of strange out of nowhere. But then I saw, you now just making like a sandwich out of 2 players on his team.
Talking about players that you dropped, he was my guy. And then
Shepard.
got hurt, had to drop him to make room. You hate to see
Dude,
it.
on the other side of getting rid of people and they blossom, it's satisfying to see other people pick up people you dropped and then watch them drop them.
Suck, yeah.
For instance, Cam Akers I traded for as like insurance for Henderdog. This is actually when you made fun of me. I had all 3 Rams running backs. dropped Akers. Bill picked him up. I predicted he would drop him. He dropped him last night. Sony Michel, who's yet to play, I picked him up, stashed him for a while, but then got rid of him when he was taken off the COVID list. O'Malley picked him up, dropped him. Rager, who we had that whole to-do about with Stu and his lineup and everything in the group me. I was holding Rager, dropped him. Stu picked him up. He scores. Stu dropped him last night.
Whoa.
Which he tried to trade him to me before dropping him, which respect Stu. I've tried to do that this this year too.
Yeah, totally.
But that's like the other end of the spectrum. Cool. Yeah, I mean, what else speaks to you before we get into the waiver wire? Should we just forge ahead?
Just kind of what a shit show the first round was this year for draft picks. Christian McCaffrey, he's had a brutal injury year.
Ooh, this is actually fun. We can count. Let's count all the guys who have been injured in the first round.
Saquon injured. Zeke is indirectly injured.
That doesn't count as injured, but
Indirectly injured. Sure. Yeah, we'll count it. Clyde Edwards, bust. Kamara, it should have been the first overall pick apparently. Dalvin Cook.
well, Dalvin Cook's been amazing.
Yeah, he did get injured for 2 weeks.
That's
3
true.
weeks?
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that counts. He's been injured. He's still
Derrick
amazing.
Henry, Joe Mixon, injured. Kenyon Drake, injured. Michael Thomas, injured. Josh Jacobs,
Chubb injured. So 7 out of 12.
7 out of 12 first round
And
picks.
actually, I think Josh Jacobs might have missed some time too.
He has certainly been dealing with some sort of knee injury. Yeah, he's pretty wild. What a brutal season. Then we're all dealing with it.
Okay, let's move on to the.
Oh, and my biggest regret of all time, George Kittle.
Yes, I guess we all know who the better tight end now is between him and Kelsey.
Yeah, it pains me to know that I should have gone George Kittle, Travis Kelce, in my 2-3 flip.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I don't know, maybe draft like Carson there instead of drafting George Kittle
Carson was on my list,
or Robinson.
and I just
Or,
knee-jerk went with Kittle instead of Carson. I regret it. But, yeah, Galladay, he's been hurt. Carson has been hurt. Robinson,
I think he
pedestrian.
missed a game.
Gurley, truthfully, is the pick that I should have made. But, yeah,
All right, we could do this for forever.
forever. I know.
All right,
Those are
waiver
the storylines.
wire review. Thank you for those. So let's do all transactions. We'll go to the Fab. So am I crazy, or did this used to have 2 A's in it for Fab?
It did.
Okay.
FAAB, yeah.
Now it's just FAB? Yeah, I've seen that. I know I've said 2 A's in the group me. I felt silly, but we're sticking with it.
You're not taking crazy pills.
Okay, so only 4 contested players, one of which, Jared Goff, was won by a lower priority We Demand a Chubbery over Weaver, the 2 0-0 bids. Do you wish you had some money left?
No.
No? You're
Yeah.
satisfied with all the dollars you spent, like the 35 on Jackson who you wouldn't play?
Yeah. Yep. I'm happy. I mean, Jackson has also been dealing with injuries. Put up that good
But
save.
now, yeah.
I got Tua, who I think is a better rest of season player. He was actually my top waiver wire ad.
But so if you, okay, let's explore that more. Rest of season, him versus Matt Ryan. Who do you have more faith in?
Great question. I think
Because that's a decision you're gonna have to make after this week for the
It
rest
depends
of
on the matchup, right? Yeah. So I don't want to start Matt Ryan against Tampa Bay, for instance. So in that matchup,
But what if you figured Tampa Bay to go up on them, and then Matt Ryan has to garbage time them the Falcons back?
that's always a possibility. However, the Buccaneers made Aaron Rodgers look like a AAA ball player, right?
But then look what Drew Brees just did to them.
I know, but that's also Drew Brees. Matt Ryan is not Drew
Noodle
Brees.
arm Brees? You
Yeah.
can't see over the line?
Yeah, maybe that's the difference. You can't be slinging it, and Matt Ryan is a slinger, and so that's not a good combo with Bucks. Anyways, it just provides me options, right? It's the classic conundrum of Josh Allen versus Cam Newton. Who are you going to choose? It's nice to have options.
For sure, good to have options. And yeah, I'm definitely not going to knock you for picking him up. But in my evaluation of the two, obviously you're going to see the matchups, but Matt Ryan's weapons are way better than Tua's weapons. Right? Matt Ryan has Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Hayden Hurst, Todd Gurley, Tua, and then all those ancillary receivers. Tua has Parker, who's been like middling. Preston Williams just got injured. Gesicki has been very up and down, and then they have no one fucks like Gaston, which also is injured, and some other like random running backs. I feel like the Falcons will rely more on Matt Ryan than the Dolphins will rely on Tua.
You're probably right. But
we'll see.
he's
It's
an
a gamble,
electric-
and you're right. I'm not
he's
trying
an
to talk
electric
shit
rookie.
on your.
You're literally talking shit on my pick, fucker.
Everybody knows that every single take I have in fantasy is correct. So
I also agree that Jared Goff is the better spot start for this week, and so that's why I put a bid in. Tua was one of those players that was picked up already for I think $3 to Adam earlier in the season, and then dropped. So
right.
I was happy to pick up either one of those. If I'm just focused on this week, then I'm going with Jared Goff. So I'm bummed that Evan picked him up. Great pickup, Evan. But yeah, I'm hoping that Tua turns into Michael Vick and just like wins me this league with J.K. Dobbins. Yes. And Mike Davis. Yes.
Well, Tua has a matchup with the Clippers on Sunday, so he's probably going to score at least 20 points. You have to imagine.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Next person, Josh Kelly, of my roster for so long until recently. No one scores like Gascon. Picks him up ahead of Plod Gurley for $8. I think that's a fine bid to put a flyer on a running back, especially when you're O'Malley. This is pre-trade, and he is kind of hurting at running back for this week. Although don't expect anything from Josh Kelly O'Malley. He's just going to be like dog shit. But
Yeah.
next, Jason Sanders. We got a kicker controversy here on the Fab. Bill puts in $1. I put in $0 for Sanders as I am in need of kicker this week, as Bill is. And Bill got him, so congrats, Bill. I'm sure I'll put up double-digit points for you. And then the last contested person, Mr. Kalen Ballage. He of the Clippers practice squad is to spend $17 for him. The next bid, also from the fantastic Plod Gurley. Pebbles got beat for both Clipper running backs. Although Ballage might not play, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. Man, you hate to see people bidding on Charger running backs.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot. I mean, Jackson's been the most consistent, but behind him, I mean, Tremaine Pope, I was talking about in the group me, is out there. He's had a big game randomly 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, just like O'Malley said, it's always the number 2. No matter who else there is, Kelly's the number 2. I don't know what the thinking is there, but some other expenditures. Max paid $15 uncontested dollars for Lamar Miller.
NA.
So that's because Montgomery, that's why O'Malley is hurting. Montgomery is concussed, and Lamar Miller is the guy who's going to be brought up.
Yeah.
So that's the thinking there by Max, but uncontested $15. What else happened?
Well, sleeping on that one.
Gerald
I will
Everett.
Forever sleep on Lamar Miller. Not a
Tom
fan.
Dulce picks up Everett, tight end this week because Kelsey's on a bye. Everett is going up against the Seahawks, so that's actually not. That's a good flyer by Pondulce.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else spend any more money? Nope, that was it. That's
Have
our
you not
move
picked
for
up
the
a kicker
week.
yet? Oh, Tyler Bass. Bass?
Yeah, I think it's Bass. Yeah, we're just gonna go full Dolphins, full Bills this week.
Bold strategy. I wonder if they're going to turn out to be super windy, cold, snowy games.
Well, let's see. Usually there's a little weather insignia next to your
God.
player. They're playing in a dome in Arizona.
Nice. You love
That's
to see
kicking
that.
weather if I ever
Yeah, you love to see
one.
that.
Buckaroo Allen. That's going to be a fun game. Allen versus Murray.
Yeah, the Scampers. One of them is a horse, a stallion, and the other is a jackrabbit.
Yeah. Allen is a little more
Girthy.
direct in his running style. Allen is more of a throwing quarterback. Murray is more of a rushing quarterback. Although I saw a fun stat today that Murray could end up with over 4,000 passing yards and over 1,000 rushing yards this year.
He'd be the first one in history, right?
Yeah.
That's insane.
So that's our waiver wire review. Moving on. Let's make some picks for this next week.
Yes.
First matchup. Let's go O'Malley's against your boy Gall.
O'Malley.
Right now we got a
my hero.
close Bush. O'Malley slightly favored in that. I'm actually taking O'Malley in this game.
Oh no, you're betting against your own team?
Yeah, well, so I did that in last week. Got the pick correct.
Oh, tough.
Yeah, unfortunately, the running backs that I was waiting on to get healthy, 3 of them, Sanders, Henderson, and Mixon. Only Sanders is looking like a for sure thing for Sunday. Henderson, his little blurb says that McVay is confident he'll be there, but he didn't practice today, which is not a good sign.
Hender dog.
Yeah, just the health of my running backs doesn't have me feeling very good in this matchup. Nixon I have there in my flex currently, but he's not. I don't think he's going to play. So I'm going to have like the boomer bust Mooney in there. Although on the O'Malley side, he is not without issue as well. We just talked about David Montgomery having the concussion, and then he just acquired Chase Edmonds from me, so that probably would be the guy that he plays in lieu of Montgomery. But Kenyon Drake is going to be back, so that he's going to eat into whatever Edmonds' share was going to be after Edmonds disappointed last week. And then on top of that, he's got good matchups. Jefferson is playing Chicago. Actually, that's third fewest. That's not a good matchup. But Fulgham is playing the Giants, which is good. Dalvin Cook is playing Chicago, and he's got a huge Bush. Yeah, I just have more faith in the health of O'Malley's team right now than my own.
Certainly. I completely agree. I chose O'Malley. He's on a hot streak. You don't bet against a hot team. Your team is being held together by floss at this point. It's really sad to see. But at least you can feel better too, right? Like you just got bit by the injury bug, and so it was through no fault of your own, except for all those players that you dropped that are now doing better. But besides that,
Are you trying to make me feel better? I don't know. All right, we're both taking O'Malley. Although I think this one is closer than we think.
I think the projections are closer than they should be, but I agree with you. I think O'Malley is going to score less, and it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, we don't need to ruminate on this so much longer. But I think it's not a shoe-in victory for O'Malley. But we're both taking him in this. Next, we got PB Lee versus You Can Kiss This Dick. It actually was kind of funny to have Bacon on the pod on Sunday because he pronounced his name just like that. You can McKissick this dick.
I'm surprised that he hasn't changed it to this D.
Yeah, just like a capital D or something.
This D, yeah. Sometimes less is more.
Who you got?
I've got the fantastic Claude Gurley. He's got a couple cues here that are a little scary. Damian Harris likely not going to play, and even if he does against Baltimore, don't like it. But really, the issue I have is with Bacon's team. I'm not going for Pebbles' offense. I think that Bacon's team is going to have a rough week. Derrick Henry versus Indianapolis on a Thursday night. That's tough. That's my boy DeForest Buckner.
Those games are tough on everybody.
Yeah. You never want to have offensive players on Thursday night. Defense and kickers.
Like O'Malley starting Corey Davis.
Yes. Yeah. And Stu, A.J. Brown. Suck it, Stu. Currently, Bacon has the double tight end strategy right now. And it hasn't been working out. We'll see if he makes any moves. I don't expect... Obviously, he's going to have to get rid of Tyreek Hill in his starting lineup. But I don't expect this to be his final roster. He clearly hasn't updated it. But I'm going Pebbles.
I'm taking Bacon in this matchup. I'm taking Bacon because Pebbles is super thin on running back. Harris is doubtful. McNasty is going up against the New Orleans front, who would be the guy Pebbles plugs in there unless he can make a move between now and then. Perhaps he should have made a strong play at a certain already traded running back, but who knows. And Judy, who just blew up, now has a new injury that may keep him out. Whereas on Bacon's side, you got a Tom Brady rebound game. He did terrible against the Bucs. The Carolina matchup is much softer, and I think he's going to come out with a little chip on his shoulder. Sanders, who's now back, scored in the Saints' last game on 5 targets. It's not the 14 he had earlier on in the season, but that projection might be a little misleading. And if you look at Bacon's bench, Landry is on there. That's a game that they don't have Odell anymore, and the Houston defense is almost as bad as the Seattle defense. So, like you're saying, this is not Bacon's final lineup. If you do a little bit of Tetris right now, we put in Landry for Hill, and then potentially McKissick for one of those tight ends. McKissick is playing to Detroit. He just had a bunch of work with Alex Smith, like you're talking about, at quarterback. And the last bullet point I want to make is Zach Moss has a crazy low projection right now. Zach Moss is now the running back in Buffalo, okay? He had 14 attempts and 2 touchdowns 2 weeks ago, 9 attempts and a touchdown last week in a game where they were scripting to pass because Seattle is terrible against the pass. I think the projections for some of Bacon's players are just ridiculously low. And you combine that with Pebbles' injury concerns. And again, this matchup, like mine with O'Malley, is going to be a lot closer than it meets the eye.
Yeah, that's all good points. I don't think that these cues were here when I made this post, to be honest, but I'm going to roll with it.
Right,
I think there have been a lot of updates.
I totally agree.
started.
I definitely was reading Henderdog's blurb during
For the
my
first
analysis.
time,
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
But,
That's fun.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
This could be the stinker of the week matchup.
Yeah, definitely. It's not my matchup of the week. We got the weekday teetotaler versus O'Brave Sir Dobbins. Who you got in your matchup?
I got me.
Why do you have you?
I got me because this is the CMC versus Mike Davis situation.
Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah, Stu's currently
CMC nowhere to be seen.
nowhere to be seen. You can't John CMC me. Ba-ba-da-ba.
Hashtag Roman Reigns.
Yeah, he's starting Adrian Peterson and Boston Scott currently, with Miles Sanders set to be back, and DeAndre Swift is the lead guy in Lionland. His team is hurting. He's got T. Higgins playing Pittsburgh, a rivalry game. That'll be fun. I've got Pittsburgh defense. We have a couple of these situations that are kind of gnarly. Juju versus Chase Claypool. That's fun. Fuck, dude. It's scary. I tried to trade with him. I tried to get some prospects from him. But just at the end of the day, it's not going to work out. Carson, I'm hoping that he stays out. I'm hoping, that doubtful turns into an out for CMC. And David Johnson, Stu's banged up, and I'm hoping to profit from it. I need to get this W.
How quickly the wins in fantasy can change.
70% luck.
Where a few weeks ago I picked Stu to be the repeat champ because he was getting CMC back on top of his successful trade acquiring Claypool and Johnson while Carson was balling out, and all of a sudden those 3 running backs. I feel you, Stu. I was just there. I'm living through it. The top 3 running backs unavailable or banged up. I'm picking you in this matchup as well. Stu's running back situation is absolutely horrendous. You got to imagine Metcalf's going to be in a shootout with the Rams. Lindsey, we were talking about earlier, he is the better running back in Denver currently with Melvin Gordon being Melvin Gordon this year. And then the Mike Davis boon. How things can change. Yeah, I'm taking you as well.
Yeah. I'm hoping that it works out this time. Come on, please.
The one wild card would be Balaj on Stu's bench. He probably will be active for that game, and so you would think that Stu plugs him in there for one of Peterson or Scott just based on last weekend's numbers for all three of those players. I can see Boston Scott having some relevance, being a change of pace guy as Sanders is coming off injury and they're playing the Giants. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm taking you.
The Cass and Tua, he could give me 2 points. That would 2-point Tua.
I don't think that'd be fun.
That would not be fun.
Yeah, I don't. Are they in LA? No, they're in Miami.
Yeah. I'm in Miami.
I think it's pretty safe to play players against the Chargers. Seems like everyone's producing against them.
Yeah.
Next matchup, we have Dion Touch Me I'm Frail versus On My Way to the Shitter.
This one's pretty easy.
On My Way to the Shitter currently has a few guys in the lineup that are on buys. We're probably in agreement with who we have winning this game.
I've got Dion Touch Me on Frail.
Yes.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy.
Yes.
CeeDee Lamb and Julio Jones on bye. Atlanta defense on bye. The replacements currently, gotta slot Kareem Hunt in for one of those.
Right. There is some Tetris involved, just like Bacon's lineup, right? Michael Thomas would go take up CeeDee Lamb's spot. Nelson Aguilar, who had a big week against the Chargers, even though only had 2 targets, still scored a touchdown. 2 weekends removed from 9 targets and 107 yards. Like he could have a better stat line than the projection is saying. So Scott's we'll see if Scott does anything different with defensively, or if he plugs in the SFD against New Orleans.
Dude, oh man, Bills running backs now are just no fun.
Right. Well, so yeah, Fournette. The Bucs do the hot hand approach, and then Gus Edwards has been getting the work with Ingram out. I'm not sure what Ingram's status is off the top of my head, but
Gus Edwards has been getting less work than Dobbins. However, he's been getting
producing
better carries. He's the guy on the goal line.
He's a better running back or better opportunity?
Better? No, they're different styles. J.K. Dobbins is always used on swings and pitches and screen passes, shit like that. Gus Edwards is north-south, south to north, just run it up the gut. North to south, he runs away from the opponents. But he's the
He's the goal line guy.
The goal line guy. He's the Jordan Howard, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck. And Mark Ingram might be back this week, so that might be terrible for him.
Kenyon Drake probably is not well enough to play, but good sign for Bill that he's going to be back sooner rather than later. Well, questionably good sign, right? He's been mostly mundane versus 1 week when he had that breakaway 65-yard touchdown to put Evan away in that matchup.
Luck.
But Bill's team is just so much stronger after that trade with Max. You have Russell Wilson, who is good for, let's see, what did he put up last week? 23 points. The lowest he's scored this year is 20.9 points. That's some consistency there. And then fucking Brandon Cooks has just had 9 targets the past 3 games and 12 targets the game before that. That's great consistency. Yeah, I think that we don't need to think too hard about this one.
It'd be pretty cool. I hate to say this, but because it's against the Niners, but it'd be pretty cool for Scott if Michael Thomas puts up 1,000,000 points against my Niners.
Eventually, Scott has to win one of these games. He has the talented guys. This one, maybe not so much in this week because Jones is out, but
yeah.
Yeah, he currently got the double Colt running back start again.
Tough.
Let's see if that stays.
That won't stay. Kareem Hunt is back.
Right, but then who does he play in the flex? Saying Aguilar goes in there too? He got 2 wide receiver spots to fill. Thomas goes in one, Aguilar goes in the other. Hunt goes into the flex unless you're putting in Hunter Henry in the flex.
Oh my god, yeah.
I think the double Colt running back situation might happen again.
Oh my god.
Not the
Real.
best running back situation there.
Would you rather do that or a double tight end start? Double RB?
I don't think I would start 2 running backs on the same team unless it was like Chubb and Hunt.
Yeah. Or Mostert and McKinnon.
Even the Niners are like impossible to predict on a week-to-week
Yeah.
basis.
This year, certainly.
Even last year, I had fucking Coleman.
Oh, rip.
He scored 4 touchdowns in one game, and then when I needed him, he scores like 1.7 points.
Oh.
Next
Moving
matchup.
on.
That's right. Lamario Party versus Devontae is my shepherd. In this one, I'm taking Adam.
Oh, nice.
You're not taking Adam.
I'm taking the Mario Party.
Oh, please tell me your reasoning.
No, you go first.
All right, I'll tell you why I'm taking Adam. Devontae Adams versus Jacksonville is like a insured 15 plus points. Jacobs got in the end zone last weekend. I think he's going to continue that hot streak versus Broncos. Ebron, who Adam is starring, is getting a healthy share of targets per game. I just think Max's team has a lot more question marks than Adam's team. I mean, Beasley is solid, but has been mostly middling. AJ Green is week to week. Mark Andrews hasn't scored above 5 points in the past month. I'm more comfortable with what Adam has going than what Max is showing currently. It'd be interesting to see if Lamario Miller makes his way into the lineup if he's activated later on in the week because Montgomery can't go. But I think Max has a lot of like Hail Mary plays going on, which I personally am not buying into.
Yeah, I feel that. But
let me tell you how you're wrong.
yeah, hold my beer. I think that Bridgewater and DJ Moore are going to have a rough day in Tampa Bay. Sterling Shepard, he's nursing an injury. It's a rivalry game. It's always so weird. Melvin Gordon.
He's averaged over 9 targets the past 3 games. Shepard has.
Certainly. Yeah. But it's still a rivalry game, right? In Philly, like, these teams know each other so well. I don't know. That's all. I always hate starting players in rivalry games because you just never know. Like, the Dolphins will always blow up against Tom Brady and the Patriots, right?
Mhm.
Like, you just never know what the fuck's going to happen. Josh Jacobs and Melvin Gordon are playing each other, so that's going to be fun. I think Josh Jacobs is going to have a rougher day than Melvin Gordon because Denver's defense is pretty solid against the run. Eric Ebron, whatever, tight end. I just think that the strength of schedule is in favor of Max's team. And while some of the players, the player quality is lesser on Max's team, I think that I'm putting a lot of value in the strength of schedule. That's my logic.
Player quality is lesser, but you're choosing him to win.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Adam. Alshon Jeffrey was a full participant in practice today. He's going to make his season debut in this game.
Oh my
Adam's been
God.
holding on to him for weeks and weeks.
How fat Jeffrey?
Alshon Fat Tree. Alshon Chub Tree. Thick Tree.
Dick Tree?
Thick Sean Fat Tree.
Jeffrey Tree.
Jeffrey
a tree?
Tree is my shepherd.
I think he's going to be super fat and slow and
They got some younger dudes that are thriving.
some burners. Yeah, Fulgham is the man in Eagletown. Time to move on, Alshon.
Last matchup.
That was good, though. Time to move on, Alshon. Hey.
Hey. Can move on this dick? Okay. We need Amanda Chubbery versus Pandulce. Who you got?
Pandulce.
This is my game of the week, by the way.
Yeah, this is a fun one.
2 teams, a lot riding on this game. Both 5-4. Brad's on a 2-game win streak. Evan's on a 3-game win streak. Who you got?
I got Chubbery.
Wow.
Again, I'm focusing on matchups. Kamara might put up infinity points. But other than that, I'm not really digging I'm just not really digging what Pandolsi's bringing to the table. Even though I'm saying that his team is crushing it.
He put like 150 points last weekend.
No, yeah. It's really, God, it's the fucking podcaster curse, man. I'm just full of hypocrite picks. But I just got beat by Chubbery, so he's my champion.
I'm taking Brad in this one. And actually, as I'm saying that, when I made this pick, I neglected to take into account the status of Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is set to return this weekend. Now, he hasn't been fully cleared, but if he does play, that would be a huge boost to We Demanded Chubbery. But I'm taking Brad because I like Rodgers against Jacksonville. Curtis Samuel against Tampa Bay, even though it's a tough defense, Curtis Samuel's had 3 phenomenal games, back to back to back. There was a lot of talk about his role being decreased because McCaffrey was involved. Well, even with McCaffrey going off last weekend, Samuel put up over 22 points, and now McCaffrey's back on the shelf, so he's going to get more of those carries.
Brad has been making some good moves on the waiver wire. Him and O'Malley both, I think, have made probably the best waiver wire pickups in Fulgham and Samuel and Tim Patrick. I like from Brad's team. And John Brown.
John Brown was not a pickup, though. But
No, sorry. But also, for the Chubbery, Duke Johnson. If David Johnson can't get back in time.
Yes.
Now all of a
Also
sudden
big.
He has 3.
Evan has a bunch of running backs.
Yeah. 3 very solid running backs. He can get Rojo the fuck
Interesting
out
that
of there.
Rojo is in there currently, yeah. And Ayuk. This is probably not the lineup we're going to see.
Definitely not. And that's what
Because both Chubb and Johnson could slot in there for the flex and Rojo. And that's what you're banking on in your pick, I
that's what
see.
I'm banking on, yeah.
Well, I'm banking on the opposite of what I said in the last matchup is the explosion from Fuller, Samuel, and Godwin.
Gosh.
Now that he's a few weeks from his broken finger.
Fuller, yeah. How gnarly. Playing
Catching a football, and yeah.
with a broken
Catching anything
finger.
with
Yeah.
a broken finger, let alone
Doing
a
anything.
rocket football.
No, thank you. Well, I don't think Tom Brady's slinging any rockets anymore.
I think he's a NFL quarterback that's probably slinging rockets.
Peyton Manning was an NFL quarterback. Hall of Fame. He wasn't slinging rockets by the end. A lot of ducks. Come on.
So we defer in that pick.
Cool.
Again. All right. It's actually a fun exercise I want to do. One, compare my picks against the Night Lord prediction model that I made last week. That was pre-trade. I made the picks again without conferring the model. Only one game I picked different, which was
2 weeks? Including both weeks or just this week?
So last week, by some coincidence, the model and I had the same picks. This week, we defer one, which is your matchup. I'm picking you now. I picked Stu previously, but that was with CMC back,
Yeah.
Davis on the bench,
Yeah.
Elliott on a bye, but he's been sucking Kittle out.
Yeah.
Right? Those were the factors in
Yeah.
that.
Certainly.
But now,
I also would have picked Stu in that scenario.
I want to flip a quarter for these matchups and then track what the quarter does.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So how we're going to do this is we're going to go to the league homepage.
Mm-hmm. We see different homepages.
Wow. We do see different
Crazy.
homepages.
The social dilemma, folks.
let's
You got to watch it.
Do we see all different or is it only... Oh, we do. Well, no. Is it only my matchup that's different? Yeah. So my matchup is flipped in yours. Is your matchup flipped in mine? Where are you?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, Braves, Dobbins.
All right.
All right.
Well, it doesn't matter. The listeners just need to know the results.
All right, we're doing my stream. So heads is going to be the left side. Tails is going to be the right side.
You want to describe this?
Yes, scribe. Scribe away.
Hold. Oh, brave Sir Scribe.
All right, first matchup. The Riddler versus no one fucks like Gaston. Heads, the Riddler. Tails, no one fucks like Gaston. Can I flip and catch a quarter 6 times in a row?
Heads is left.
Quarter says
Tails.
Gaston.
No one fucks like Gaston.
Next, Heads, Plod Gurley. Tails, you can kiss this.
You almost dropped that one.
Heads.
Oh, fantastic.
Quarter says Plod Gurley.
Plod Gurley.
Next matchup. My hands are all sweaty for some reason.
A lot of pressure.
Weekday teetotaler is heads. Oh, brave Sir Dobbins. Tails. That didn't flip at all.
That was a terrible
Heads.
flip.
Weekday teetotaler.
That should be a fucking
Nope.
flip.
We're not going to reflip it. I'll just flip this next one better. All right. Heads. Dion, touch me. I'm frail. Tails. On my way to the shitter.
Damn.
Tails. On my way to the shitter.
Wow.
Wins that one. Next. Lamario Party. Heads. Devontae is my shepherd. Tails.
The upset of the week.
Tails.
Woo!
Devontae is my shepherd. He's going to win that one per the quarter. And last matchup, we
And per
demand
you.
a chubbery. Heads. Pandulce. Tails.
Come on, heads. Another non-flip.
Tails. Pandulce.
Non-flips are bullshit.
What, flip or non-flip? We'll see what happens. Quarter is spoken.
This quarter was loaded.
It's not a loaded quarter. It's actually a state quarter. It's the state of...
Is that a peacock
Wait,
on it?
it's not a state. Kisatchee.
Cassettes?
The hell is that?
This is solid
It's a
podcasting.
specialty quarter.
I'm
All
looking
right.
at it. Yeah, Cassachi. Louisiana, you dumb fuck.
Where does it say that?
Right there. Louisiana.
Okay, Louisiana State Quarter from
2015
2015 has spoken. That's our podcast,
We
folks.
demand a chubby. lot of autocorrect. And on that note, good luck, everybody.
2 final words. One, thank you,
Oh, no.
Kurt, for the Spanish-themed intro today. Muy bien, muchas gracias. Also, I want to throw out a remembrance to the Champion Pod. You know how at the Oscars they have a
Yeah.
in memoriam?
Mhm.
So we're going to do an in memoriam for the Champion Pod. This will be the 3rd podcast released in a row, not counting the bonus pod. The Champion Pod hasn't been posted. The Champion himself said that he wasn't feeling it really anymore. And so just want to give a shout out to all the effort that he gave. Really laying the foundation of a spirited rivalry between the podcasts. And
Hostile name takeover. It took a lot of effort.
so we remember you. We pour one out for you. And we're happy to take the mantle of the true podcast.
The one
of
true
Frisbee
podcast.
Touchdown.
We reign supreme. So yeah, let's get a
So let's-
moment of silence. And a cheers.
Cheers for the People's Pod.
Mm-hmm.
This is our Week 10 podcast. Good luck to everyone. And we'll see you on the other side.
Black fucking tide.
Bienvenido al People's Pod.